Well, the FDA is calling vaping an epidemic, especially amongst teenagers and even middle schoolers. Now, to try to solve this problem, they plan to ban certain flavors from convenience stores and gas stations, leaving vape and tobacco shops as the only place to buy the vaping materials. E-cigs currently come in flavors like chocolate and tropical fruit, as well as other fruit flavors to try to lure in teens. And let's highlight this problem because let me give you a figure that's pretty startling. 2 million students were using e-cigarettes last year alone, and that number continues to go up.
The Tempe School District wants to help your kids talk about this so that you can talk with them. Gibby Para is live this morning with details on their new PSA. Really an eye-opener of how huge this problem is, Gib.
Yeah, it is. And if you guys remember, just last week, one of the more popular companies, Juul, they announced that they were going to stop selling some of their more popular fruity flavors like mango and such because of that reason, knowing that the FDA was going to come out with the numbers. And you just said it yourself, 2 million middle to high school kids currently using e-cigs. Warren Cole joining me here. Here at the Tempe Union High School District, you guys have already started to banish the vape. That's your guys' campaign, and you guys are trying to hit it head on because there's a vape shop like a block away from here.
Yeah, it's a little discouraging that they're so close to the schools. We just want to make sure parents are informed of the potential harmful consequences of using vapes and e-cigarettes and things like that. Our goal is to educate. We want to make sure that parents are aware of the terminology that students are using or that is associated with the e-cigarettes and e-pens, and to inform and to let them know that there's potential harm. A lot of students view this as a safe alternative, or it's safer than smoking. Safer doesn't make it safe. It does contain nicotine, which is a highly addictive substance that can lead to other drugs and things like that. So
yeah, the FDA just stating that at this age right now, this can really manipulate their brain and their function for higher learning in that sense. And that's part of why this campaign is in there. You mentioned already knowing the lingo, knowing the vaping or the juuling. What are some of the other things? Because I know the hardest part is when a parent tries to talk to a child and that gets kind of awkward. How can they get rid of that awkwardness?
I think just bring it up in a normal conversation. If you happen to pass a vaping store, e-cigarette store, if you happen to see someone vaping, just bring it up in natural conversation. Hey, do you know what that is? Do you know what those devices are? And it's not to lecture, it's to open up that lines of dialogue and just engage their student and bring it that way. The people are going to be a little bit more receptive to the message if it's not in a lecturing tone, but more in a conversation.
As you mentioned, finding the right place to do it. You know, we just talked about traveling for the holidays. You could be in the road. Right. It could be a civil conversation that comes on up. And one of the other important parts that I like that you put on that list as well was for those parents who do smoke, now's a good time to quit because you could set an example for your kids as well.
Yeah, exactly. Just model good behavior. Don't use nicotine or any kind of tobacco substance. And because if you as a parent are doing it, you're trying to preach or lecture or talk to your student about it, the first thing they're going to say is, well, you're doing it. And so model the good behavior and don't use any of the tobacco substances yourself, and it makes it easier to have that conversation.
All right, thank you very much. And these are important points right here, guys. And you know, the thing is that when you look at those numbers, when you look at how easy it is, when you look at the flavors that are so enticing to kids, that it makes it so easy for them to get into. So make sure you communicate, big, huge one right there, guys, and let your kids know how harmful this can be as well.
Yeah, and we just don't know because there's not enough research, so long term, so it could be even more problematic. All right,
Thanks,
good
Skip.
information. Thanks, Skip.